So this is our presentation. We will talk about SAT road mapping and scenario building. As you heard, we will present. We'll try to present in parallel. It will be a little bit challenging, but we hope we will manage it. I will talk about SAT road mapping. The first question: which kind of team could the method be appropriate, relevant for? We started with discussing conditions, conditions for choosing the topic for SAT road mapping, and these are, first of all, consensual topic. We thought that it should be that SAT road mapping is rather appropriate for topics which are more consensual, which there is an overall European or national agreement on the topic, because we started with the consideration which we need to have a vision in order to achieve it, and with road mapping, this is what we aim to do, to make a map, to map the obstacles, the steps we need to do in order to achieve our vision. But whose vision is this? We started with this question, and then we agreed that it should be a common vision. It should be something that is agreed upon on a European or national level. The second condition would be, it should be something which is not completely new, not imaginary or too much disruptive, if the word was this. It should be something, it should be a topic which is there is a knowledge gained in this topic, and it's not something completely new. So we thought of 3 examples of our group. The people from our group had some experience with road mapping, and maybe at the end we can share one of them for you to get better impression on this, because we won't have time for the 3. And now we will continue with the scenario building.
Yeah. The microphone.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Silent audience.
Yeah?
Otherwise it can record your heartbeats.
Oh, we don't want that. Ah. Hooray! Does it work? Okay, so with the scenario building, as the name says, it's building scenarios between stakeholders, stakeholders, experts, and policymakers. So, as it is building scenarios, we thought that the themes could be more controversial, because it's not a fixed future or something, one fixed vision you're planning for. You can have more possibilities, so you can experiment a little bit more on the sorry, I get very nervous, on the topics. So you could also use this for new technologies that has not had a real impact now, but will maybe have in the future. And more complex topics where the scenario building can help you explore different futures that are maybe, you can be more creative and think about more possible futures with the theme than, for example, with S&T road mapping, where you need to end up with one vision. You can here end up with more than that. Decision makers in the end can have an overview of what will happen if we choose this or this and this, and which options are available. So we thought about examples could be drones, 3D printing, electric mobility, and as we saw yesterday, climate change adaptation strategies. So, yeah.
We chose the complicated way, but just to add something here, maybe, but yeah, it doesn't matter. She was saying that here in scenario buildings we can choose more controversial topics, which there is not agreement about what we want to achieve in the future, and this is the meaning of it, to consider many options, to open up the debate for many options to be considered. And we thought that it might be good sequence of good combination of methods. First, to start with scenario building, opening up the debate, considering different methods, different options for the future. And then once we have prioritized something, we start with road mapping to see what the steps would be, what the trends are, in order to achieve this vision. So what we have as a result is an impact of the method. We have first of all the practical tool, which is the visual map of obstacles to overcome to reach a certain goal. Then we have we have thought of some not that direct results from using the road mapping, which are engagement of stakeholders in the process. We had very interesting discussion about the kind of empowerment, sense of empowerment we give to the stakeholders involved, especially if these are citizens, a sense that something depends on them and that their opinions will be considered for the future. So this engagement, we thought that it might also lead to kind of social cohesion. Is a little bit strong word to use in this regard, but a common sense among the participants, common vision and engagement in achieving this vision. And then we have social cohesion, and then we have as a result the legitimacy that we achieve when we present, for example, our results to the policymakers to be considered when decisions have to be made, they have to be based on something. When we have a transparent process in the road mapping, we increase a certain legitimacy, which is a positive impact for the decisions that policymakers are taking. We were talking about transparency and legitimacy a lot, and it's very important here in order to have this positive impact and effect, to really be transparent in the way how we choose the stakeholders involved in the road mapping, because it should be in order, when we have this common vision, it should be agreed really, and stakeholders should agree on this common vision. So it's important to choose carefully the stakeholders. And
should
now,
I take the mic? This one. So, with the scenario building, as it's building up several scenarios, and not deciding in the process on one scenario, we thought that it's more a process of awareness building, where you give the topic some awareness and you discuss different possibilities. You you take responsibility for a theme or a topic, giving it time as you discuss it, And you create a baseline for further discussion, maybe among stakeholders or citizens, politicians. Maybe you could use this method we discussed in a scenario workshop, where here's where you create the visions or the scenarios, and then afterwards you take it to the scenario workshop, and the citizens and the stakeholders and everybody is invited to maybe discuss these findings. And then we feel that it can be used as how do you say it? Legitimacy tool for policy makers, so that they feel that they make their decisions on a ground that has been discussed and that they have considered all the different options. So that would be a good thing for them. And it's important that with this method you can also explore the worst case scenario visions, so you have really a possibility to open up a process instead of closing it down. So you take everything into account, even the things that are not so nice to talk about, and that could actually be a strength in the end for the people that has to decide on the topic. Yeah, should we switch?
So the last question to be discussed: what are the limits of this method? First of all, I will come back to the impacts that we discussed. This sense of empowerment, if we can say so, for the citizens, especially for the stakeholders involved. If one of our members was very suggested the idea that if we actually give the citizens too much, if we are too ambitious with giving the citizens this sense of control that they have over the processes, over the future, the steps that will be taken by the policymakers for reaching this vision, then they might be disillusioned at some point if they see that what they have discussed, for example, what they have decided is not taken into consideration by policymakers. So we should be really careful with this. To be relatively, we have to have some limits of our ambitions in this regard. So another limitations that we discussed is that including different stakeholders, including a large group of stakeholders into the process might lead to very general measures, that we consider in the process. So, because it should be something consensual, many stakeholders will be involved. It might lead to some general measures and too much cutting of the complexity of the issue. We have to be rather because we need to choose a certain path for the road mapping, we cut from the complexity and we simplify it to an extent, which is a limitation of the method. And the path dependency. If something changes in the situation, it really cannot be reflected into the road mapping, into what we have considered as a map for reaching this goal. So this is also another limitation.
Yeah. Okay, so some of the limits of the scenario building is that it's very time consuming for the organizer, and that it requires some skills on how to organize the event or the scenario building event. And also one of the things we thought that might be a problem in a scenario building is that maybe the talk about the worst case scenarios could take too much time or could be taken too much into consideration and then not focus on the plausible solutions or visions, because it's always fun to make a bit of drama, or what if we do this, oh then everything will crack. So maybe it will be difficult to steer this into the plausible solutions. You have to be very good at that. So we wrote, be careful with too much creativity, and also opening up the process with the scenario building can both be a benefit, but also a limit, because you have to steer the whole process. And another thing that we didn't write here is that in the paper, we didn't knew the method before, but in the paper it says nothing about if all these different stakeholders and experts and policymakers that you are asking to do the visions, if they are actually in the same room discussing, or if they are just asked, first you ask the stakeholders and then you ask blah blah blah. That could also be a limit of the method if they don't talk with each other. So you have very different visions, and then how can you decide if one is in this direction? But that's also a part of the charm of the method, that it is scenarios and it's opening up and everything is possible. So it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing in the same time. So.
Okay.